Video games based on movies. Today, it's largely just a cheap cash-in with crossover events in previously established games or zero-effort mobile gacha games. It wasn't that long ago that any major movie release would get a standalone game released alongside the film targeted at hyped-up kids who just saw the movie, who could then bug their parents to buy them a way to relive that excitement in an entirely new way. Unfortunately, just like today, the vast majority of these games were low to zero effort budget cash-ins that are about as fun as trying to talk about your favorite movie with someone who's only ever seen Avatar. Aladdin was an interesting movie-based game, as the original team working on the project considered Aladdin to be a low-priority project and only dedicated about 10% of their resources to it, with the other 90% going towards their Jurassic Park game. Between Disney's frustrations with this and seeing good progress on Capcom's SNES Aladdin title, drastic measures were taken and the game was moved to Virgin Interactive. Was the move the right one? Today we'll be exploring the final product, its legacy and relevance today, almost 30 years later. When you start a new game in Aladdin, the first thing that catches your attention is how much the presentation manages to perfectly capture the feel of the movie. Many of the previous movie-to-game efforts could capture the look, but not the feel of the title itself. Aladdin, unlike many of these other games, was a perfect storm of creative effort, control, and budget that allowed Disney to put senior animators on the project and actually drew art specific for the game that Virgin converted into sprites using a process they called Digicel. It was entirely a marketing gimmick, but it showed Disney was taking this game seriously, and it shows in the animation. Aladdin, the backgrounds, the countless enemies he faces all look and animate fantastically. Then those 16-bit tunes worm their way into your ear. Now, I'm playing on a Genesis Model 2 here, so you're not getting the superior experience you would with a Model 1. But from the digitized voices, beautiful rearrangements of music from the film to solid sound effects, all I can really say to the audio design is just, wow! Just take a listen to this arrangement of Never Had a Friend Like Me. Or this arrangement of Arabian Nights. It all comes together with the gameplay itself to really elevate the game to something bigger and better than the sum of its parts. Something that continues to have a lasting legacy to this day. Once you're actually in the game, most levels play out with you running, jumping, and fighting your way through the level to get to the exit. Sometimes you're going right, sometimes up, sometimes left, sometimes down. The design is erratic and maze-like enough that despite the fact that there's ever only one path forward, it feels like you're exploring a free-roam arena. Every level has an overall exit point you're looking for, at which point you're given a small text and graphic bit of story to push you forward to the next level. These scenes very loosely follow the movie, almost cutting the genie completely out of the game and skipping entirely over Aladdin parading around as a prince for half the movie, instead choosing to go straight from exiting the cave to marching back to Jafar's palace to murder him. As you run through the levels, plenty of things will try and kill you. Aladdin can defend himself with a sword and a ranged attack of throwing apples at guys. Aladdin can take a beating here, which makes things a lot easier. I've heard rumor of a Japanese arcade version of the game that only allows you to be hit twice. Brutal. Along the way, you'll also be collecting gems, apples, extra lives, and health pickups, the most important of which are the gems. Gems can be used at vendors scattered and hidden around the levels to purchase the single most valuable item in the game, a wish. As you have a limited number of lives, if you run out, you'll return to the title screen and have to start the entire 10 levels of the game over again. When you hit the game over screen, you can use a wish to restart with a full set of lives from the beginning of the current stage you're on instead of very beginning. While Aladdin is a short game, clocking in at less than an hour start to finish, the wishes will save you constant replay and backtracking in your journey to murder Jafar. The platforming isn't terribly difficult either, with most of the difficulty coming in a bizarre mid-game difficulty spike as you try to escape a lava-filled cave and get stuck in the genie's lamp. Smack in the middle of these levels is a reaction time level the developers understood was too hard for kids and just lets you move on if you die 3 times. These levels feature a number of instant and cheap-feeling deaths where the game falls victim to pixel-perfect jumping and level memorization instead of good game design. Once you get past these levels, the good game design returns and the difficulty evens back out until the final boss. It's not surprising the game feels the need to interrupt the proceedings with boss fights every now and again. Sadly, most of these boss fights are poorly thought out. All of them have extremely easy tells on how to beat them and offer up no real challenge except for the final boss. Spoilers! Jafar is a huge pain in the ass who will tractor beam you, shoot fire at you, make fire erupt wherever you stand, and bite you as a giant snake. But, in true Disney form, by pelting a grown-ass man with dozens of apples until he collapses in agony, you can finally end his reign of terror. Once you beat the game, you get the proverbial "you win" screen, credits roll, and then this is the end of the Aladdin franchise. 2 sequel movies? Definitely didn't happen. This game sold gangbusters for the Genesis, coinciding with the VHS release of the film in 1993 and eventually moving over 4 million copies. It's often fondly remembered as one of the better looking games on the system and as one of the best playing ones, often being ranked higher than the also excellent SNES game. In 2018, the game was re-released with a very slight fresh coat of paint for modern hardware, packaged with the Lion King and some of the other ports of the game that made some significant sacrifices to make it fit on the hardware at the time. Today, that is the best way to play the game, as the game features such things as rewinding when you die and the ability to save your progress, all things the original Genesis release doesn't have. When you want to go back and fondly remember the Genesis era, Aladdin is certainly worth your time and money as it still looks and plays great today. A testament to what good art and game design can do in a capable team's hands. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I can really only sum up this game in one word: